Starting over doesn't mean starting from scratch. Whether you're divorced, widowed, or re-entering the dating world after a long time, this moment feels both terrifying and thrilling. And you're not who you were at 30, and that's your superpower. I've helped thousands of women start again, from CEOs who left 20-year marriages to widows who thought love was over for them. From what I see with a lot of women, it's like, who am I? Am I invisible? A lot of women over the age of 50 or 60 suddenly feel like they're almost invisible, being, widowed or divorced at that age. And is there a world for me out there? What's next for me? It's tough. I'm going to break this down into two parts for easier understanding. So the first is divorced. Okay, you obviously got divorced for a reason. Maybe you wanted it. Maybe he wanted it. It really doesn't matter. After a long marriage, there's always going to be a period of, grief. Some people go into therapy. Some people, fill a couple years with activities. Some people jump right back into the dating scene and are just ready to rock and roll again. Now, on the other hand, let's go to widows for a second, because I've had really good experiences with women and men who have been widowed. And I think it's because so many of them have come from really happy marriages. So their expectation of a relationship is happiness. They're not looking at it, with bitterness. So and people are all different too, in how long it takes them after being widowed to get back out there. I had one man who was married for 30 years, and he was the caretaker for his wife for the last 10 years. And you know what? By the time she passed away, he was absolutely ready to start dating again. He kind of had a long goodbye, in those 10 years, but had a great marriage before that. Then there's other people, that I meet that they need a little time. And I think really the litmus test here for either if you're widowed or divorced is, can you go on a date and not talk a lot about it? I mean, it'll come up in conversation whether you're divorced or widowed, and that's normal. But if you're widowed, can you have a date where you're not raving about the other person and just talking about the other person? If that's the case, something, you're probably not ready yet. Take a month, take a year, and do some other things before you start dating. And for divorced women, something interesting to keep in mind. Did you know, and I don't think married people realize this, did you know that 38% of people over the age of 50 have gone through a divorce? How about that? But a good percentage have been divorced. So it's not like we're in the 1950s where people were embarrassed by divorce, or there was a stigma about divorce. Hey, it didn't work out. But you probably have some lovely memories back in time, maybe some lovely children, and you'll know when you're ready to date again. When people call me, and I always do like a 15-minute screening call first, whether you're widowed, divorced, but in a long-term relationship, it doesn't matter. And the first thing I want to know kind of is, where's your head at? Are you ready for this? And I would say about half the time a client will say to me, well, I've been in a bereavement group or a divorce group, or I'm in therapy. And if they say the therapy thing, I always ask, oh, does your therapist know you're calling me? And they'll say yes. And I'll say, so what does your therapist think about this whole thing? And they say one of two things. One is, oh, she thinks it's the greatest thing that I'm ready to start again. Or she thinks it's way too early. And you know what? I take that advice to heart. And if the therapist says they're ready, I take you as a client. If the therapist doesn't think you're ready yet, I'll tell you, you know what? Wait a little while. Hey, I've been around for over 30 years doing this, and I've got a really good track record. I'm going to be here in a year when you're ready. So something just to, keep in mind. Yeah, and you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be open, and then you need to be strategic too. Bottom line, it really doesn't matter if you're widowed or divorced, but you think you're ready to, jump back into the dating pool. Most people, when they call me, They're not like, oh, Andrea, I'm so excited to call you. No, they're not. They're nervous, there's angst. And I always ask, are you a little bit excited about this whole thing? And if they say yes, that's normal. It's normal to be nervous. I mean, just think about it. You've been with the same man for 30 years. Or, you lost the love of your life, this man, after 25 years. So curiosity is really good. But what I'm going to do with you too is we're not just going to, send you out in the jungle alone. Okay? You got me. I'm kind of your guide through the jungle. And what we'll be doing is doing a couple of practice dates initially with men. And I'll be holding your hand the whole time. I'm a really good cheerleader. And you'll find out very quickly that once you start talking, you realize, oh, with curiosity, you have a lot of questions for this person. And it's not about their marriage or anything like that. It's about film, books, friends. Do you have grandchildren? Do you have kids? What do your kids do? What was your last vacation? What are you doing next? And it turns into fun. So I would say people by their third or fourth date feel very comfortable dating, even after, a long-term relationship. Yeah, and the last thing I would really say is you have to watch out for if there's any negativity, if there's any bitterness. And I guess I'm speaking more to people who have gotten divorced. If there's negativity or bad feelings, how are you going to get over that? Have you faced kind of those demons yet and, come to realize you're single and the world's your oyster? I mean, there's such a pool of great people out there. And it might not seem like it. You might live, in the suburbs in a bedroom community and you think everyone's married. It's so not the case. Again, 38% of people are divorced, and there are men out there that are very interested in dating you. So it's just a matter of, getting back on the horse again. And like I said, having a good guide to take you through it. How do I rebuild your confidence? Okay, there's a bunch of ways, and some of them are super fun. Okay, I'm gonna probably have you update your hair. Go to a good salon, get a good cut. If you need color, get a makeover. You can go to Nordstrom, you can go to Bloomingdale's, you can go to Macy's. It's free to get makeup. You just have to buy one thing at least. And get a new look. Retail therapy is amazing. It makes you feel so good. Number two, this goes back to retail therapy, update your wardrobe. I want you to go out and shop. I'm doing this actually with a client right now, and I feel like we're working on a Pinterest board together. She's sending me things, picture photos of clothing, and I'm sending her back comments. So, you want to update your wardrobe. You don't want to look like you're dating in the 1990s. You want to look current, and you want to look stylish for your own age. All the major department stores have personal shoppers, and the personal shoppers are absolutely free. Okay, so when you're hiring a personal shopper, here's my thing. Don't hire a 60-year-old. Don't hire a 20-year-old. 40, they're going to have a lot of knowledge about clothing and what's going to look good on you. The 20-year-old might be trying to put you in too hip of stuff. The 60-year-old might be trying to dress you a little too conservatively. And I just find that working with people like 10 or 15 years younger than you, you'll have like a new, young, vibrant look. This raises self-confidence so quickly. A couple new outfits, a new pair of shoes, your makeover, you feel like $1 million. What else am I going to do and work with you on? I'm going to work with you, as I mentioned this earlier, on some role playing and talking about topics that you can talk about on the first date. I'm going to coach you on where to go for the first date. I don't want you to go to Starbucks for the first date. Starbucks. I can't tell you how many times I've been at a Starbucks with my daughter and I've been sitting next to somebody on their first date and they're so uncomfortable. And of course I'm listening to everything they're saying, but you don't want to go to somewhere crowded. You want to go to somewhere where there's a nice ambiance. And that's why a lot of times I suggest lunch or I suggest a drink, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. At that time, there's no expectation of dinner or anything else. So, some practicing, and then you talk to me after each one of the dates. We have a whole tracking system. What'd you talk about? What'd you think of him? Was he attractive? Would you go out with him again? And it's all about you. It's not about him. It's, did you like him? Did you like him enough to go out on a second date? So we work through a lot of things to give you self-confidence. And I kind of liken this to, I play golf. I never played golf without having a lesson. My mom was a really good golfer and she taught me how to play golf. I would have never gone on a golf course without a pro showing me how. Play pickleball now. My first couple pickleballs I did clinics, so I knew what the heck was going on and how to score. And did that give me self-confidence when I started playing with groups? Oh yeah, you bet. So what's really gonna give you the confidence? The first couple of dates. And you've got this new you and this new look. So I think one of the things that scares people, whether you're widowed or divorced, is when you're jumping back in. Here's a thing that can really scare you when you're jumping back in the dating pool. There's over 1,400 dating sites, dating apps, platforms out there to choose from. If you pick the wrong one, you will get so discouraged so fast. So how do you pick the right one? That's where, a dating coach comes in handy, who knows the different dating sites and also gets the data from companies like Gallup and Statista about the demographics in your area and what's going to, be the best site for you. So I think that's where a lot of the fear comes from initially. Is, where do I start and how do I start? And then also committing to a period of time that you're going to do this. And you're going to frame this as, this is an adventure, right? This is an adventure. You're not going to listen to your single friends who are going to tell you how horrible it is out there. You're not going to listen to your married friends who have no clue what they're talking about. So you're going to listen to me or somebody like me, and you're going to be positive about the whole process, but you're going to commit to 3 months. 3 months. You got to give it 3 months. And it'll probably be on 2 or 3 different sites. And that's how long it generally takes somebody to meet somebody. And over, 65% of my clients are in relationships, so it works. But I do make you commit to 3 months. It's not luck, it's leverage here. And it's being strategic about the whole thing and knowing red flags on the dating sites and knowing what to stay away from and the type of people that you want to meet. What's a big red flag? A man who has 1 photo. That's something, a dating coach can lead you through that whole process. If you're tired of feeling stuck and terrified of settling, let's make your second act your best yet. Book a free 15-minute strategy call with me today. Just go to the link in the description. And all we're going to do is chat for 15 minutes to see if I'm a good fit for you, you're a good fit for me, and if I think I can help you. We'll create a plan that honors your past, celebrates your future, and helps you date with the confidence and clarity you deserve.